Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Me Live broadcast, the USA Cycling Race League, presented by Saris, the Pros Closet. I'm Nathan Garrett. I got Dave Toll next to me, and we are out on 8 laps of Volcano counterclockwise for 8 laps out there today. Men's and women's racing 4-race series. More details to come on that. I do see chat asking questions. Yes, 4-race series. Last week we did not broadcast last week. It was the preliminary race. It was a warm-up race, and now we're back into it. So good to see. I love all the questions coming on through. Keep them coming. We'll bring the chatter in. We got 46 seconds to start to go for the men's race, about 5 minutes to go for the women's race. Dave, last time through the series, we saw a total of 10 races. This time, a quick little turnaround of 4. I think looking to make it more of a short crit type series, it looks like.
Yeah, fill the gap here with some intensity. There's so many riders out there that have built up form. They've got to be somewhere to get out there and use it. So, Nathan, I'm stoked. Even just taking a couple days off of racing really makes me get hungry again. And, boy, we've got some monsters. I happen to know for our women's race, I can't wait to introduce some of the stars that are joining us today. But for the men that we're starting right now, Nathan, they're probably rolling out as we speak. Guess who's back? The mighty Dane, Nicholas Patterson. He's going to be a rider to contend with out here. I'm pretty motivated. NBC Sports, Nathan, has been showing old tour stages over the last couple of days. I'm really starting to get that energy here again as we're going to be moving into, as USA Cycling working super hard right now just to keep things on simmer as we get ready for racing to come back. And there they are, out on course, the monsters of the road. All right, Nathan, here we go. 38K of racing today, 8 laps on this course. It's got a little kick to it, little zing out there.
Yeah, each and every single lap. So we're going to head on over toward the volcano. You can see it off in the distance there with the smoke over the top of it. That's where the racers are heading on over toward. They will jump out past the little start banners here and everything, heading on over toward the climb. Not really. I mean, it's just a little bump in the road, really, but it can be a little dangerous.
It's serviceable.
Yeah, 3% gradient. If you're struggling a little bit, Vigo more there, BRT off the back a little bit. So that's what I'm talking about. He's going to have to burn a little matches here, and then as soon as he does and gets back on terms, again, a little bit of a bump. Right-hand turn, and then over to the counterclockwise. Every lap, they are going to be hitting that 2 tier, so be watching out for that. And so it's not completely flat. Definitely a kick every single lap. Very much a crit course, though, because of that. There's a couple of courses out on Zwift that definitely serve as the courses that they do use for crit type racing, and this most definitely is one of them with 1 or 2 punches each and every lap. Short course, though, going to be a short race out there today.
Yeah, there's no extended climb. You're right, Nathan, when you look at it here. A guy like Corey Williams, perfect to be focused on him right now, the rider out of Los Angeles on that Legion team. He'll be able to make it up and over these climbs each lap. These guys, again, we've said, the racers make the race, and that's one of the real truisms out here. You mentioned Vigo Moore. He comes in as one of the top-ranked riders in the world of Zwift right now. It's quite an international field, even though this is a USA Cycling race, and a big thank you to Saris and the Pros Closet for helping put this together. Vigo, an American rider, a young, talented, last year junior rider. But we've got the Argentinian Araldi here, Juan Cruz Araldi. I also see Scott Gleason jumping in today, another strong American. Mike Cuming, Daniel Ricciardo, one of the Portuguese riders. That movement out of Portugal coming on strong right now. South African as well, Gary Mueller. So you can find all of these details in zwiftpower.com. That website is incredibly useful. So, Nathan, looking at this group, I think today we always do a little bit of predicting as well, expecting to see some kind of a sprint for sure. It's not a huge group that we're starting here, but it's a quality group. I think we went with, I would have to say, quality over quantity out here today.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit smaller out here today. I think also people getting it on their radar that the series is taking place is one of those things as well. But, I think also there's some reality that we have, middle of July, it's getting hot out and some people are taking it to the pavement. I've seen a lot, but it's interesting. This series specifically, though, has really kept the numbers, it seems like. There's a couple of race series that are out there that have been able to really keep. Still, we've got 78 starters. I mean, that's no joke within just the A category. It's not like we're looking at just, that, and I believe we're well over 200, maybe more between all the categories out there today. So definitely still good amounts. We are seeing Matt Stevens is out there, East Ellis as well. We do have Sean Guidish on board. We're going to see if we can find him in the crowd here. We also have some live images coming in from Sean. So good to see them. I do believe the women are jumping out on course though, as they've got about a minute 12 to start, and they've got a solid group. It just looked like Tibco has shown up on the day
Oh boy.
with both Lauren Stevens as well as Kristen Faulkner. So be watching out for them. We're seeing Charlotte Backus is in there as well. I believe we do have the Saris crew in here in the women's race as well. With I believe at least Christine is hanging out in here. So I mean, it's going to be an interesting day. That's for sure.
Nathan, isn't it so cool when you look back on the last couple of months how we were able to, through Zwift community, have the Tibco team show up and really hone their craft, esports racing in particular. They're already awesome bike racers, no doubt about that. But learning the ins and outs and the details, boy, did that pay off at the Tour de France for them. I mean, you're talking about a stage winner when you talk about Stevens. We've talked so much about what a talent she is, and seeing her back that up at the Tour was exceptional. And her teammate, more than it goes way beyond rookie of the year when you talk about Kristen Faulkner as well. She's just one of the best stories in the sport right now. So they're couple seconds from rolling out on course as we watch the big group of the men rolling along now. Again, a lot of depth out here. I see Caleb Carl in our field. He's a rider that's come on strong. Without a doubt, Nathan, I'll be interested the first time they hit this little kicker, the 8 times that they'll see it out here today throughout our 38 kilometers of racing, what kind of damage they can do. I don't know that too many guys are going to get dropped out of this group today.
We'll get some
What do we have here
now with Sean Guidish from Team Draft right now, coming out of the US of A. And this is what it looks like as he stands up. Going to come out of camera for just a minute, but 6.3 watts per kilogram here real quick. As you can see, 6.5. So it doesn't look like working too incredibly hard as the riders do make their way over the top of this 2-tier here. They're going to be hitting this every single lap, maybe just taking it easy the first couple of laps here. But Evola here now going off the front, it looks like, with a couple of other riders, maybe trying to make a split as we move our way forward here. It does look like we do have 3 off the front. I believe that's going to be, from what we can see here, Gleason trying to make the chase, but it's going to be Ostrang here coming out of Holland, as well as Hogan and then Johnny Rocket. Good to see Hogan and Rocket here, the finesse boys. They always tend to be on it when it comes to making the race fast. So finesse definitely going to be communicating and looking to try and break things apart. They seem to do this. They were in Guidish now to the front, actually. 6.6 watts per kilogram coming from him, going away from the draft team. But Finesse, they were actually in the evening series a whole bunch. These riders specifically, a couple of weeks back that I was participated in, they were always attacking off the front, always making the race animated. And it's good to see that they're back doing the same.
Yeah, didn't take them long, did it? Inside the first 5K. That's Finesse that you're talking about, Nathan. The team that looked like they kind of initiated things. Our man, we were just in camera there with Sean Guidish. Good job, Sean. So riding up in the front where you want to be here in case there is any kind of a split out here today. It's certainly active up here as we see another rider now pressing on. Andrade, I believe we're looking at.
Yeah, Andrade.
But Nathan, it's all about the follow through.
It's calmed down though. It's calmed down though at this point. This is not going much of anywhere. So as they calm things right on down, they start their first lap of 8 out on course here. Let's go ahead and jump in with the women as they start to head on over toward the volcano themselves. Faulkner, you can see Janine Seeger from Alpha as well. Lauren Stevens is here. We've got Keller as well from Team Revo. So plenty of Charlotte Backus, as we were seeing, from Team Turbo as well. So plenty. Christy Tracy's in here from Team Saris. So 29 starters here for the women's race out here today. CRCA's in there as well with Grossman. So watch out here. We're going to see Tibco most likely going to be taking everybody to school out here. We'll have to wait and see, though. Perhaps there can be some challenges. We'll have to, strong racers, obviously coming from Team Tibco, but go ahead and just see how things are going to play out. We do have live shots as well. I have a feeling that things are going to be fairly calm, though, at this point in the Pain Caves.
Nathan, when you look at it, to be fair here to all the other women in this field, you don't need to feel too bad about the fact that you've got the woman that just won the Tour de France Stage 2 only a couple of days ago racing with you. And there's another rider that made that front group. I mean, Tibco, now the leading team, and look at that points tally that they have. I mean, they're tripling the number of points that a lot of other, well-regarded World Tour teams have. So Tibco is not only the number one esports team in the world, they're one of the number one teams in the world. And we were talking before the race about the fact that they've done more during this COVID-19 lockdown period than any other team in any other sport that I know of. So Linda Jackson, the general manager, owner of that team, Rachel Hederman, the director of that squad, and all of the riders have just been amazing. So that being said, they're going to be heading over to Europe here, getting ready for their campaign. Yeah, good for you, Charlotte. We love Charlotte Backus. She absolutely is a monster. This kid out of Park City, actually Colorado based originally, but now living in Park City, Utah. And Charlotte now going to take advantage of that terrain that she thrives on. These little kickers here as we now make our way through a rolling section, but always a rider to watch, Charlotte Backus.
She just gave a solid 10 watts per kilogram little kick from the back of the pack up and over the top here. Now the question is, can she hold on on the downhill here? Now 250 watts currently from the riders. You can see on Team Turbo. This is going to be the tough spot. Lauren Matson-Cole now making the chase there. It looks like Cavendish now trying to come back. Twin as well as Rodriguez all toward the front. There's the speed of the pack and the reality of a downhill with a group like this. Going to shut it right on down. It looks like it was a nice little kick, but now they're going to go into the 2-tier. Might suffer for it if she doesn't jump into the draft here pretty quickly.
Christy Tracy with us in this field as well. Always a rider to watch. I certainly, when you talk about danger women here, Caroline Murray, Infinite Saris rider, is the biggest threat without a doubt. She is a proven commodity, the Scottish rider here. So it's not just Faulkner and Stevens that we've got. Laura Matson-Coe racing out of Seattle. Nathan, her story is another one of the really tremendous. I was thinking that the people of Zwift that we race with, they all have such incredible stories. It's worthy of a podcast. It really is. And one of the first guests that I would have would be Laura Matson-Coe. She's an orthopedic surgeon. She's a mom of 2, and she is a legend in esports. I mean, this woman races up in the front end and just never misses a split. Super is not only smart racer, but aggressive, just really well put together. So when you look at the front of the group right now, Nathan, it's going to be obviously super tricky, but for every rider out here, if you want to get better in this sport, you race against the best. And that's exactly what we're doing here at USA Cycling Saris, the Pros Closet event today.
Kolchinsky now making her way to the front. Stevens as well. Covering moves. Bamburst is there. It looks like Patton there from Team Evoke, it looks like. Riding in a pink kit, though. Interesting to see. Level 20, maybe. I like the pink kit. Pretty cool to see. We're looking at Laura Matson-Coe's avatar here. But to the front, we do see a couple of riders just trying to cover some moves. Rider from King, it looks like, from CLS also there. A lot of Evoke kits out here, though, today. I am seeing at least 4. I believe, 3. Perhaps, and then it does look like a Vision Rider there as well. Ellen Tarquino has shown up. So going to come all back together as they hit this 2-tier into their second lap here. Going to be starting in for the women's side of things on the racing. A couple of attacks now happening on the men's side, though. Let's go ahead and jump in and see how that is playing out as everything's fairly calm. Let's get a couple of live shots, though, of the riders here real quickly. I mean, looking at the calmness here, Lauren Stevens now at this point, just kind of tagging along. It looks like ticking a little bit of rocking back and forth there as well. We can see her teammate there, Kristen Faulkner, very concentrated, but not a whole lot of sweat in the brow just yet. I think it's pretty calm here in the Pain Cave still.
It's funny, most riders, Nathan, call it the Pain Cave. These ladies have set up actually a corner office in the Pain Cave. I don't know, 2 women that are more comfortable hanging out in that Pain Cave than the 2 that you just showed us there. Another point I'd like to make, Nathan, is we're sitting here on a Wednesday after a massive weekend for women's racing at the Tour de France, the ASO, in Zwift. It's amazing what is happening right now. And part of the story that's so cool is that Zwift and using their influence is treating the women on the exact same level with respect. The racing are the same distance, and all of the things that you're hoping for with equality in women's racing are happening right now. So that being said, 2 of the women that were dominating in that race are racing with us here on Zwift Community Live on a Wednesday. I think that it speaks to their work ethic. the quality of the racing that you get here and the authenticness of I don't think authenticness is a word, but how authentic this experience is. It's obviously Kristen Faulkner's in Northern California. I want to say Bay Area, but I'm not exactly sure. We'll find out what city she's in. But I know that Lauren Stevens and Matt Stevens in the men's race here are racing out of Dallas, Texas, where it's probably 102 degrees today, Nathan. Very, very warm. So this is just, you're looking at what it takes to be a pro. And what it takes to be a pro also requires for some of the riders here going into the deep end of the pool and fighting it out.
Like Gene Mueller here. Look at Mueller from the
Good
HDR
job.
team here coming out of South Africa off the front. Now, he gave a solid attack on a flatter section of the course where you don't usually expect a whole lot of action, actually. But got a little bit of gap. 12 seconds at this point. Continues on 7.3 watts per kilogram. He looks fairly all in on this move. He's going to need a rider or two to come across. Now, the next section's on course that will provide an opportunity. A little bit of a downhill here as they go past the entrance to the KOM that they will not be climbing. They'll go along the seaside and then again up the 2-tier. On the downhill, they're going to bring back some time. I have a feeling it'll come back to about 5 seconds or so, but he'll still have a 5-second gap. And at that point, maybe even more as he goes out to 13 seconds now, going to get into a super tuck maybe on the downhill here. And this move, I don't think it'll stay away. I mean, he probably can't hold on to that 6 to 7 for the duration of the race here, 6 to 7 watts per kilogram. But what he can do is instigate a couple riders to come across over the top of the 2-tier. And I think the riders are kind of just waiting for something like that.
This is what's so fun, the Machiavellian chess match that goes on out here. Is Mueller, you wonder then who's going to take the responsibility for the chase? How does that work? And how long does he stay out here? The follow-through from these earlier moves as we're coming up on a third of the way into this. It's 38 total kilometers of racing out here. And Nathan, going back, if you went back 2 years ago, this was sort of the original Crit City, wasn't it, that we're racing on now? So, comparable on how hard it is to stay away out here to staying away from a big group in a regular American criterium. You can see the group hovering there right now, about 10 seconds back. So they're even 9 now. They're whittling away at it. It's so hard for one solo rider to stay away.
Definitely original Crit City type course, that's for sure. You have the 2-tier each lap, kind of similar to what you see if you're doing the Bell Lap out on Crit City as well. Back down to 7 seconds. We said it get within 5 now as you see him backing off the 4.7. We'll see if he's got any kind of effort left in the legs, though, to pump over the top here. Mayhew now toward the front. It looks like 4.7 watts per kilogram. Stroud's there as well. It looks like Morgan from Deep Pack now making his way to the front. Nobody really going to punch, though. I was expecting maybe a little something more. Mueller now up into 8 watts per kilogram here. As you can see, 34 kilometers per hour. Watch how they cruise along, though. 37 coming from the pack as they just fly right on up this first section of this 2-tier. And it's going to be back into lap number 4 in just a moment here, I believe it is. And bringing him right back into the fold. Will there be a counterattack is the question. We do see Legion hovering here. Corey Williams, I believe he's just going to be waiting it out for the sprint as it's probably a sprinter's race out here today. But it is an uphill kick too as well. And I think that favors Corey a little bit.
Agreed on all counts there. Talking about the Tibco women in their race, same thing here with Corey Williams. Corey is one of the premier sprinters in America today. And Nathan, if you follow him, I think you do on social media, he's been doing a lot of work during the last, never stopped working, to tell you the truth. Really came on strong a few years ago. It's one of the greatest stories going in American cycling. Actually, forget American cycling and cycling on the planet right now, what the Williams brothers are doing with that Legion of LA team. But Nathan, I'll sign off on Corey Williams as the man to beat all day long out here, especially the way things are going right now.
A little bit of attack off the front here, and it looks like they're looking to cover it here. A PTZ rider going along with it, it looks like, as it is going to be Park as well as Lejeune. They're coming out of Belgium. Then it's going to be Cumin and Gringo, though. And Gringo from the 3R team, he's been super aggressive recently in the races, always on the front. I believe I raced him just the other day as well in maybe the KISS 100 here, but Gringo now 6.4 here continues on. Nice little counterattack. Mueller now AHDR toward the front again, maybe trying to get involved, but it does look like Lejeune here is going to be coming across. Perhaps PTZ going to be able to get involved here. 159, 415 watts, almost back on terms. Pumps up at the 9 watts per kilogram, looking to just jump a little bit more speed into those wheels. Stroud now toward the front. It looks like 4.6 on the front, 47 kilometers per hour. Match the speed. It's not always watts per kilogram. It really is about the speed, as the watts are what needs to push those bikes forward. But really, when you use that power at what times and where on the course in relation to the course, the other riders, really impacts how much speed you get out of it here. Now down to 50 kilometers per hour. Pack looking to go across here. This is instigating a lot of moves, actually. I think they're starting to believe a little bit of faith in a break now.
Yeah, it's hotting up out here on Watopia right now. Emmanuel Lejeune is a rider that we're going to be, I think we're going to hear a lot more about that name. And look at the way power is going from station to station out here, very quickly bridging up. But you can see what's happening now is he's going to bring everybody with him, Nathan. And that's going to really reset this entire race as we come up on the midpoint here. We're racing multiple different categories, and that's what USA Cycling is all about. I mean, it's all the way from that the kid showing up with tennis shoes and soccer shorts as a 12-year-old who wonders what the sport is all about, to that 20-year-old who's wondering the same thing with tennis shoes on, to Olympians that USA Cycling supports and helps foster a racing environment, Nathan. And here we go. We are going to reset, but this race is absolutely at a tempo I didn't expect to see here. Little splits opening up, chaotic moment pretty early as well.
Yeah, Edwin Park now making his way to the front. This group is going to come flying down the downhill here in just a moment. Now, anybody who's smart enough to sit in the pack after those attacks, the heart rates are high. Look at this, 186 beats per minute.
Yeah.
Lots of riders are going to be up in these high heart rates after covering those moves. But anybody who was sitting in and waiting and being patient, following the right wheels, trusting it was going to come back, they're having an opportunity to glide right on through this pack at this point and attack off the front. And that's exactly what Gaidish is doing, it looks like. Sean Gaidish here, it looks like, making a little bit of a move. He's going to need to carry this speed as well as the effort all the way into the climb, though. 6.8 watts per kilogram on the front now. 176 beats per minute. Let's see what this looks like here. We do have him on live cam here, actually. We'll see. Looking very steady here at this point, though. Tuck it in just a little bit, looking for that power. Seated for sure. Maybe going to get a little bit of a stance here in just a moment, though, as they hit the climb. But definitely reserving energy, riding this the right way, it looks like.
I like what Sean is all about. That's a working man's pain cave right there. As Gaidish as
Nathan, he's got the AC on him. It's literally right on him. That is the way to go.
More power to him. As absolutely, maybe that's helping fuel these attacks here. That dude is chill, or the engine is running cold. He's absolutely pinning it. That's the rider, the icon in red, right off the front. Nathan has him on screen right now. Sean Gaidish, under 20-year-old rider out here, up out of the saddle now as it's going to come back together. Is anyone going to go up and over the top of this one, Nathan? I think so. Maybe it's Kershaw, another very dangerous rider. Boy, Nathan, they're not sitting back here today. They're taking, well, this is esports. This is Zwift. They race hard out here. There is no such thing as a day off on Watopia.
That's right. And it looks like back into the two-tier as they head into 6 to go. I believe it is 6 to go in just a moment here. And now over the top, it's going to be Mike Schwartz there from the Dropouts team, as well as Caleb Cadence there coming across from Sweden, it looks like. Gringo 2 seconds back. Another pack forming, it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and jump in with the women here real quickly, as been pretty Grupo Compacto so far. I think everybody at this point is watching and seeing what some of the heavier hitters are going to be up to here. Kristen Murray, Karen Murray, Christine as well, coming from the Saris team here. We'll see if Christy Tracy is going to be making anything happen. But, I think they're mainly thinking, what does Tip go up to after watching the performance over the weekend?
Yeah, I wouldn't say stunning if you've been watching what they've been doing, but certainly Nathan, I'm going to dovetail into that then. They put in all the work, and definitely, with Rachel Hederman and their director, everything that they're doing is how you run a professional team in esports. Did you hear or see the article about Holden Camo joining the rally team that had a second place with Pierre-André Coté? At the Tour de France as well. I mean, Rally is a professional continental team with mostly American and Canadian riders on it. That would be absolutely punching above your weight as well. And they used Holden as their esports expert. They couldn't have found a better guy for that effort. And it paid off, no doubt about it. Even though Pierre-André Coté has a lot of esports experience, what that Discord channel certainly was going to be interesting. We're looking at Lauren Stevens right now. Again, Tour de France stage winner. I just love being able to say that. We used to always talk about that Winston-Salem UCI World Cup win, multi-time national team member. This woman can do it all on the bike. One of the most multi-dimensional professionals out there. And Lauren Stevens is now on a tear. Right now, her husband, Matt, racing in the same house there in Dallas. And Stevens, Nathan, I think she's going to take this group and sort it out a little bit smaller right now. Some riders going to fight through this. It wasn't a massive moment there. Just Lauren Stevens being Lauren Stevens.
Yeah, give it a little bit of a kick. It looked like it separated the group out just a tad. A couple of the riders looking to get back on terms. It looks actually not just a tad. We've got about 10 riders off the pack. Actually.
Yeah.
So that attack definitely put a little bit of hurt in. Now it looks like you got that. There's that moment. I just saw the moment. That's a very familiar moment to me when the continuance stops and you're like, okay, arrest of the eyes, the brow changes a little bit. There's the concentration is just a little bit, and you're the cadence change up,
move into that zone,
right? A little bit, and it's like, okay, let's see what kind of damage has been done. And it looks like the damage is about 4 riders now chasing off the back here of this women's race.
And Nathan, I think my favorite riders in the world are those 4. Because this is what it's all about. No one is digging deeper right now. Nobody exercising in a gym or with their trainer in Malibu is anywhere close to the effort that those women are making. And they're coming back, Nathan. I think they're going to come back into the group. You can see how hard they're fighting here. Nothing shows you more about what you're about because quitters quit. No doubt, but not Rodriguez here. Nathan, if they come back into this group, they should feel awesome about themselves because they're riding with one of the best in the world. Well, a few of the best in the world, no doubt. Caroline Murray in this field. Lauren Stevens, Kristen Faulkner. Come on, ladies, get up there now. This is not something, Nathan, that you want to dabble around with. You've got to crush this and rejoin the group. You got your opportunity. The window is open, just a crack. Got to slide your hand in there.
Yeah, and it looks like now. 44 kilometers per hour.
We're going to do
it back second by second. Here, Stevens in the back, 40 kilometers per hour. I mean, it's right there within striking distance. Looks like they're just going to bring it back here. They've got just enough speed to roll on, it looks like. But it was touch and go there, definitely for a moment. But they did drop off quite a few others there. I think there's about 5 or 6 more riders unable to make the juncture after that attack from Stevens. Now, though, is the question, will somebody take full advantage of the situation and counterattack the moment they get back on?
Well, give them a break. Nathan, I just got to say for USA Cycling, that was our moment there, is that never give up, because that's what USA Cycling is going through, right? It is really tough right now for all of those folks in Colorado Springs who are working to keep the sport afloat, keep things moving forward in a positive way, working with the race organizers. Nathan, I know you're one of those people that trains so hard, you do so much on Zwift, but you love racing outside too. And, there's some events that you really look forward to, and that's part of why we do this, is to travel. And, there's a name we haven't shouted out enough yet, Monalique Keller. Another very, very strong rider out here today for the Revo team. Big fan.
Monalique Keller getting some shout-outs there. It looks like over at the chat over on YouTube from Francis Coach. Casalot, good to see you as Keller from the Revo team now. Sitting pretty, it looks like 10th pace or so coming out of Canada right now. So Revo's got, it looks like, at least 2 athletes that have made the front group. So going to be looking to support each other. It's going to be Rogers and Keller, I believe. And a quick little announcement, it does look like they do have an event, a women's only event coming up on July 24th through the 26th, actually. I believe it's invitational, and we will be covering that here on ZCL. Dave literally just got that notification. So it's
that's great.
Going to be a great weekend of racing, actually, that Revo is putting together. So good to see that they're doing a lot to support more participation in the world of women's racing, actually. So big shout out to Revo. They've made the front group here, it looks like. We'll see what they can pull off for a result today.
Well, that's awesome to hear. Nathan, that's one of the things that I have really learned with this community, any community for that matter, is you're going to rely on your community. And if you want more women's races, sometimes you just have to make them yourself. And that is absolutely fundamentally building things from the ground up. So Revo, I salute you. My hat is tipped. So, all right. Picking up Run Canyon here as we take a look at the women's peloton. I like the fact that we're now just about into the middle part of the race, and we've got a big group of women together. Again, a few riders out here have raised their game. It takes a lot of courage to race your bike. I think racing your bike on Zwift in a lot of ways, I mean, even though you're not doing it in front of people, that accountability and the desire to not get dropped remains absolutely at the same level. We're going to jump in with the men here as well, because that's going to be one of the Portuguese riders, Daniel Ricciardo, going with the group. And Nathan, it looks like they might be splitting things up over there in the men's race, almost 23 kilometers into a 38-kilometer slugfest going on out here. Looks like a little less than a dozen riders in the group. It's going to stir stir the pot a little bit here. Yeah.
Looks like Gringo here toward the front along his HDR. Mueller, he continues to be on point here. It looks like just making some moves, trying to really instigate something. I did see Wade here from Dirt trying to come across. It looks like coming out of Ireland now. I did see Corey Williams toward the front as well, instigating a little bit, maybe getting a little worried about this move. And it's interesting. This is the section, of course, that we've seen them make the most damage, actually, at least the most wiggle room to work with. It has been these flatter sections after the kick into the lap, actually, through the lap banner, leaving the volcano. Jones now looking to go across, and I think one of these is going to stick one of these times here. Vigo Moore now looking to make something happen as well. It's a long enough race that I think some of the riders just might get tired, inattentive, think that it's going to close down, and next thing you know, there's enough off the front, it's not happening. I mean, that's 7-8 bodies there, almost able to match the speeds of a bigger group.
It's weird how there's a magic number for these breakaways. And I think I saw, Nathan, in the comments that somebody was saying 5 or 6, and I would agree with that. 5 or 6 of the right riders, because there's no one team here that's got that 8 riders that they can shut something down at will. I mean, again, that's a good name to look at. Vigo Moore here, the 17-year-old. Vigo's going to have a birthday at some point and be 18, but I've got him still as one of the top juniors, really strong, always in the front end. And, you get Vigo Moore and a couple riders of his quality, and you've got yourself an interesting breakaway. Nathan, if you've seen racing on this course for years, how many times? I mean, is it 1 in 20? And what do you call a breakaway as well? Because in Zwift, it's pretty unique what these finishes are like. A lot of times it comes down to who survived into that sprint, right? And then it all blows up in the last K.
This one's really difficult. And usually on this course, it's a runaway with half a lap or a lap to go.
Right.
I think we did see
That's a perfect term.
Old school Zwift racing. Some of the KRT boys, the stronger KRT boys, 40 may have made something. Tim, Cartwright was walked away with quite a few races, but those are the only names, and we're talking old school Zwift racing, really, that might have walked away with this.
And when you say runaway, it's that kind of like suicide attack, or that coming over the top of an attack at 2K. Is that sort of the way a lot of them played out?
Yeah, and it wasn't a whole lot of them. I would have to say maybe one hand could count them, really, on this course. I mean, there's been so many races on this course, almost always into the 2 tiers, second kick. They have this first initial punch. Almost never do they get away completely on this first initial punch. It flattens out. You can actually grab the draft again. You can see it play out here, as Deepak would be if we're heading into the final sprint. Let's say we're not, but if we were heading into the final sprint here, this would be the perfect position where Kershaw's the lead out. Vola's sitting at 5 watts per kilogram, or even where Johnson is and Stroud is, because you can jump from here into that second tier with enough kick with a power up and make something happen. And so really it's about when you go now. Right here, who goes right about at this moment here is going to win that sprint situation, but hangs on with the right position over the top of that first kick. And that first kick is almost 10 watts per kilogram, though, when they really go. Kershaw, though, with a little bit of gap. Cumming looking to come across. Maybe we're going to have a situation. Might be an upset here with 3 laps to go. Be interesting to see. We don't usually see it, but hopefully we get a little bit more action off the front here.
And I wouldn't call it a seismic shift, but racing always is, it's changing. And with the new riders that we have out here, the techniques that worked in the past maybe don't work quite as well anymore. So you're seeing that natural shift is, here we go. Bit of a surge from one of our top riders here. Cumming is a monster, no doubt. And so, Nathan, this is getting close here as we start taking a look at, that 4, 5, 6 riders. That's the number that you start really thinking is going to be able to make something serious happen, as we're about a dozen kilometers away from the finish here. But again, it's very active, but no follow through. nothing seems to stick, nor would you'd expect it to. I'm anticipating Corey Williams gets a crack at it from a pretty good sized group today.
Yeah, I'd have to say it's a good one. But Vigo Moore, watch out for him. Definitely one to watch out for in the sprint. He's been the young buck coming up, challenging some of the top sprinters out there in the racing. So back in with the women's racing, though, things still fairly calm, as you can see, all sticking together. I did like one of the shout outs here for Monali Keller, actually, as there was some great little information actually coming on through. It looks like good to see Monali getting some love. This is coming in from Tony Kavlin. But also, we're seeing Francis letting us know 42 years old, mom of 3, full-time Microsoft job, crushing young pros. She deserves the kudos. Absolutely. Always love those stories here. As we got plenty of chatter coming on through here. Stuart Featherstone, I think tongue-in-cheek, joking with you, Dave, is just really disappointed that he's not one of your top 4 favorite riders. Stuart, working on
Stuart, I was saving you.
You know, the long list. You're on the long list. You almost made it.
Hey, yeah, it's not a scientific formula either, Stuart. I definitely, I'll keep my eye on you. That's for sure. So, Nathan, this community is awesome, isn't it? I love the fact that we can have fun with each other, and I greatly appreciate when folks reach out on any of the social media platforms. I'll always have time for our friends in this community and learning. I mean, Laura Matsenko is a good example of, if you don't take the time to learn about the riders behind the icons, the sport can't mean that much to you, because why would you care? But once you start investing in who these riders are, but again, I'm always learning. You know who I want to know more about, Nathan? Caroline Murray. You know much about Caroline? I mean, she's so strong. She is one of the strongest women out here, without any doubt, out of Scotland. I didn't even really know what the Scottish flag looked like until I started learning about Caroline Murray. But that's another rider. I'd be very interested in her backstory, her origin story. Is every one of these riders has one.
All I have in my head now is shouts for freedom for some reason, but thanks, I appreciate that, Dave. So, and they're not going to, some sort of new meme about taking our Tron bikes, but can't take our, I don't know, ride-ons or something.
With their face painted blue, right?
Face painted blue, yeah.
Yeah.
So, as we jump in here, Diane here now, as you can see out of the US of A, 180 beats per minute. This really speaks to the type of effort that's coming. I mean, that's it's beating like a butterfly here right now, and it goes to show how hard these riders are working out here today. I mean, if we look around though amongst the group here, 161, so King a little bit lower here, Grossman there, 165. You start getting an idea of which riders here. Look at what, I mean, here with Hugboom now, BK's PC 152 with the verified badge there coming out of the Netherlands. Be watching out for a top 5 to 10 here for this rider, I think.
Yeah, we're going to have some riders coming out of the woodwork out of this group here today as well. I mentioned that the Tibco team is going to be heading over to Europe as they get ready for that campaign. And after, again, you have a Tour de France stage winner in this field here today. If you're just joining us, I see some folks just jumping in, and thank you. It's been so cool to see the numbers growing with people who are enjoying watching this racing out here. And as we've learned how legitimate this is, can you imagine, Nathan, for, let's just say you're a USA cycling rider, an up-and-comer here, like Nelson, or up and comer is not fair. If you're riding in this group, you're way beyond up and coming. That's true. You've arrived. You're in the A race and you're killing it. But you're jumping in with the best riders in the world here. That really helps you lift your game. So that's going to be Stevens right in the middle of your group with the pink cap. That's her trademark, Nathan. I'd say her signature look, the pink socks and pink cap, is I would even wonder what level. I mean, because Kristen Faulkner, who we had a great chance to learn a little bit more about her as well. This rider out of Alaska, we didn't even touch on that, did we, Nathan? Alaska never even came up as we were mentioning Dave Jordan and our friends in New York City. That core group of folks in New York City that includes our man Charlie Eisendorf and that whole crew that. Central Park. Every time I ride there, I think of those good folks, and now I'll think about Kristen Faulkner as well. So it's our community, Nathan. It makes this so much fun. I can see Power up on the front here for the men. Women's group hanging in there.
women's group chilled down just a little bit. Did see Lauren making her way to the front for just a moment. I thought maybe the attack was coming on, but it looks like calm down as they're going to have 3.5 to go. Men with 2 to go at this point. I think that anybody who's going to try and take a fly off the front going to have to be doing it pretty soon if they do not want a sprint situation. It looks like that is exactly what's going on here with one of the riders here, I believe, coming out of, it looks like Solak here now up toward the front. No, B. Jones now on the front as well with a little bit of attack. It's going to be Lejuno from PTZ.
It's PTZ.
Again, the Belgian rider here, really on the attack. Yumi now coming over the top, 8 watts per kilogram. This has been the section they've been able to get a little bit of a gap each lap here. 165, 587 watts now, right now, and a lap and a half to go. And I think he really does not want a sprint situation.
It looks like we're moving into another level of this race. Actually, Nathan, let's go ahead and call this the beginning of the finale, as that crescendo has begun, the drum beat, the heavy drum beat, because we're going to enter a whole new world of pain now. This is a strong attack here that we're looking at, opening up a few seconds gap on what will be. So again, this is one of our top ranked riders here. If you go to Zwift Power, you can see all of that data. But Cuming here is going to be a problem, Nathan. If he could get a little bit of help, I don't think one man right now is going to be enough. But here you go. It looks like some riders are coming. We've got ourselves a moment here. It's Mueller, another strong rider. Okay, the cream is rising to the top, Nathan.
Yeah, Mueller looking to go across, it looks like. And he, HDR, he's been very involved here. And Cuming continues on. That's the really encouraging thing about this break so far, is that both Cuming and Gringo have continued on. They haven't backed off and waited. It was actually Mueller who had to jump at 12 watts per kilogram to get across. Still traveling 50 kilometers per hour. Lawrence here now 50 kilometers per hour as well. Now jumping to 9 watts per kilogram. He's going to bump the speed of the pack up just a little bit. He's going to come across maybe. We have to... The pace,
big difference. Yeah, the problem is, trying to bridge across is so hard, isn't it, Nathan? Because unless you can really snap, you're going to just chase and bring everybody with you, and then you're doing their work, right? I mean, so, trying to get that gap there, it's so hard to do. And that's why we find a worthy winner every single time out here on Watopia. This 3-rider group now soldiering on.
Yeah, Cuming now 4.5, 48 kilos per hour. Let's go ahead and match the speeds and see what they're like here now. 48 as well, 49 here. Will they have enough speed here? 54. As they come into the flatter sections here, we're going to see the roll through. Watch all these avatars come through. There's some super tuck. We saw a couple questions. Can you even get a super tuck on this course? Oh, yes, you can, especially in a pack of this size. If it's negative 3% or greater, and you got a pack of this size, hitting 57 kilometers per hour, not too difficult. Now, they still have a gap here with 3 riders, though. Interesting to see. This may be a situation. A little bit of a move in the women's race as well. We'll jump in there in just a second here. 7 watts per kilogram, the 450. They're going to have orange numbers again going into 1 lap to go.
Yeah, and at 1 lap to go, again, that's quite a bit of racing ahead of you out here, as women still together right now. So, again, an impressive effort by everybody who's staying up in this group. The fireworks are certainly going to be coming. Certainly all over America. I think this year we've seen excessive fireworks. We'll get ready for a few more here. It's a little after the 4th now. Probably don't need to use that analogy, but we're going to be watching here in both of these races now. This breakaway for the men still hanging on, but now that's a rider chasing back again here. That's Seeger, the alpha rider.
Janine Seeger off the back just a little bit here. Now 2.8 watts per kilogram. Not going to be happening, it looks like. Blowing up now as she goes 162 beats per minute. So back in with Ronikin.
Hey, she made it 26K into this one. Good job. She's going to be a better bike racer for this effort out here today. Guarantee you that.
Huge effort there from Janine. As I think she maybe
how you go over your limit
there
right?
for just a moment, though. I mean, she's bumping back into 3.8 there for a moment. So perhaps just not in the right spot at the right time. And some of the other riders, they're perhaps just grabbing the right wheels in the right position to come through that little bit of a 2-tier climb.
You're like the cat knocked her banana off the TV stand or something and took her eye off the ball for a second.
Bananas. It went bananas out there on course. 1 to go in the men's race.
What do you think,
We're on
Nathan?
the bell lap now.
Nathan, you're my go-to guy, no doubt about it. What kind of chance do you give a strong 3-rider breakaway out here? Is this a 1 in a million, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 100? What are we looking at? It's tough.
One in whatever they're willing. It's one in whatever they're willing. It's one in the willingness to really bury themselves right now and work together. They got to put out a solid 6 to 7 watts per kilogram on the front here. Mueller seems that he is willing to do just that and sacrifice himself. It cannot be about the win. It has to be about the podium at this point. It has to be about driving the pace as much as they can. They're going to need a 20-second gap. And it looks like they're backing off in the pack here. They can make it happen. 3.7. The pack's going to be thinking about sprinting, so they're not going to be chasing.
It's interesting, Nathan. What is the dynamic in a breakaway that makes it work, right? No one can ever really commit 100% when you've got two riders that you can't trust completely. So, I mean, there's just some unknowns out there that don't allow you to go as deep as you could if you had three teammates racing together, because you're always worried that if you make too big of an effort, they're going to attack you. In this case now, the reality of you're holding off a really strong group of hungry riders. I mean, guys like Corey Williams that make their living winning sprints. So, yeah, Nathan, if this gap didn't extend out over 15 seconds at this point, I don't know what you could do here. But again, it's all about that. What are you going to do? Well, they're not that far from the finish, are they, at this point? I mean, we're bearing down on it. They're already 35 and a half kilometers into what we've got as a 38-kilometer race. I'm going to estimate, don't use that as an exact number. It'll be close when you talk about the race distance here.
Really, really close here. I believe they do have about 2K to go or so. So, yeah, it'll be right around there. But we do have far of it.
Use 2K. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, the penultimate kilometer, that's always, you're all in on your racing tactics now. At this point, if you're in this break, you just completely have committed to it. Why not keep going on? Nathan, as they say, when you're going through hell, might as well keep going.
Yeah, and get the heck out, it looks like, as it seems 4 seconds now. Mueller, it looks like Gringo, Cumming continue on here. The 4-man break breaking apart here a little bit here. Actually, no, excuse me, 3-man break as they did one lapped rider. Excuse me on that, the Cycle Works rider there. But it looks like with 3 seconds now, a little bit of a kick over the top, and they're going to be bringing this right back in. It's almost impossible
reality
at this point.
Sandwich.
I think it is just reality as the group really is going to have a ton of speed on this downhill as we head into half a lap to go here. And the setup is going to be all about the sprinters at this point. It's going to be about the positioning. You got to position yourself very well on the downhill as well as into the flat. I have many times lost the wheel on this downhill, not positioning correctly, let it slip away from me, and found myself having to make up way too much ground going into the sprint.
Right,
so
and you can't
who positions well here.
Yeah, you can't start your sprint behind the 8 ball. Right, Nathan? I mean, that's what you learn from, that's the lesson that you get from that kind of a situation. So these guys all know this now. We've talked about how the gameplay element of Zwift is really, really important out here, and that's what the positioning is all about right now. We got ourselves a battle royale going on the front, Nathan. I haven't seen a group sprint this big in a while. We got a lot of riders in this group. Everybody's hungry. Only one man gets to lick his plate clean here.
Yeah,
who's it gonna be?
Here. Look at how calm he is still here next to the AC.
Unbelievable.
I love to see how calm he is
this
as we
guy.
head into the sprint section here in just a moment. There's a move in the women's race. We'll get back to the women's race in just a moment here, but it's going to be the men's sprint. That's what it's all about here at this point. As we're heading to the last K to go here. Robertson toward the front now, as you can see. It's going to be Ford now there as well. This is the kick now. It looks like it's going to be Stroud now. NFTO here. First move. Usually not the one to win it is this first move. 12.8 watts per kilogram. We're getting enough gap here, though. I don't know, Dave. This is a lot to ask here, but he's got a solid gap. He's out to 2 seconds. Evola goes, though, 12 watts per kilogram. Raldi's there now. This is going to be the lead out, though, mainly from Deepak Rider now as he looks to drag the rest of the pack up. It's only 2 seconds up to Stroud. Not going to be happening. It looks like a Raldi now. No, the kick. Stroud now trying to hold on, but it's going to be Segala here. The Irishman goes, but is it too early? And it's always this big guess as to when the moment's going to be. A Raldi now 14 watts per kilogram coming the rider in the blue and black trying to come across. It looks like he may be able to get the gap here. It looks like a Team ZF is going to make it happen as Vigo Moore. We said the young gun at the line. Did he do it? Did he do it, Dave? It was so close.
So again, we'll look at the back end API, but I think Vigo squeaked by grabbing that one. Oh, what a finale that was. Oh, man, Nathan. All right, I'm going to be sitting here on pins and needles waiting to hear how that was going to play out. Again, photo finish. What a race. USA Cycling in full effect. We're going to jump right back in with the women. Nathan, yeah, they've whittled this group. A little bit of attrition out here. Actually, when you look at how many we started with, a lot of women keeping their head above water out here in this world-class field that we've got. Murray, Stevens, Faulkner. Does anyone crack the code, Nathan? Who's going to get inside that top three here today?
Yeah, that was
Wow, that was a great
there
race,
was a
wasn't
little
it?
bit of a move. I did see on the live cam from Lauren Stevens a little bit of concentration there for a moment. Like there was a little bit of a push on it. I think it did
Furrowed
grab
brow.
a couple of riders out, as we do see Wendorf from Sisu. Now that's a name that I'm not expecting to be. Sisu, they have been in the WTRL, very strong team here, but not finding themselves off the back, as well as Ronkanen and Nelson. So definitely was a little bit of a push heading into the final couple of laps here. So King there from CLS now, 162. We'll take a quick look over at the replay here for the men's race in just a moment. As what a solid kick.
What do you
to the
think,
line it
Nathan?
looked
What's your call on that one? Are you thinking it was Vigo?
I
It
don't know.
looked
That
like it,
was
but
right
the
at the
image-
line. It really was right at
Right.
the line there.
And a lot of times what you're seeing is going to be a close estimation. You've got to go back and look at that the data and as they run it through. So
Here's Sigala.
that's
with that
Vigo in
kick.
black. Yeah. So Segala, the Irishman here that we're looking at, Nathan, this is where Vigo really makes that last surge. Finish line comes up so quickly now.
Yeah, and you can see
I
there.
don't know. I think he got
I
it.
thought Araldi was going to take it.
He's
there.
by.
Vigo. Look at Vigo here though. Still 2 bikes behind, 3 bikes behind. Look at him come on here. 15 watts per kilogram is what he came from the middle of the pack with. He's matching now 16 kick there, as you can see. As Araldi
now
continues
this is
on
the moment.
1200 watts. This is it right here. Let's go ahead and see if they were able to make it happen. And we come right to the line here. I thought for sure with the kind of speed he was coming with.
Yeah. I mean, Vigo
I
has
think
it
he did
there.
I think he did it. I think he did it.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, I would say so too. That, at least that visually he did right there. Wow, great race. Good job, Vigo. Vigo on the Lux team, that squad I've talked about, run by Roy Nickman, the Olympic bronze medalist in the team time trial. We should get a squad from the Lux guys and women out in our WTRL that we're looking forward to tomorrow. If you don't join us, you are missing out on a great experience.
Yeah,
It's not just a bike race, it's a movement.
Good call. And you know, I need to start doing WTRL. Like we need a ZCL team. I've been getting a lot of different invites actually. Yeah, come on, Nathan, let's do it. You know, Zwift HQ has
You
2
should.
teams now. They actually have 2 teams.
I know. London
Steve Beckett,
and Long.
head of marketing,
Yeah.
is doing it alongside of the Zwift Australia have like 3 or 4. I mean, there's like amazing that
Yeah.
the people who make this game are so enthralled with what the community is putting together. They're doing it every week now. I get messages afterwards with the results and pictures of what happens because of the suffering. Actually, I mean it's pretty cool that they've what WTRL put together, and I'm excited for tomorrow's race for sure. But we're in the women's race here now. They've got 1 lap to go in just a moment here, I believe. And King 7.1 watts per kilogram doesn't look like anybody's going to be getting away from the 2 heavy hitters here today.
Yeah, and I like the way they're racing out here today, talking about the Tibco Silicon Valley Bank riders, in that discretion is the better part of valor. You've heard that before, and I think that's exactly what we're witnessing here. When you're looking at 2 of the best right now, Nathan. I mean, you remember about a month and a half ago when we started really seeing the dominance from the Tibco women, how it became pretty clear that they're going to be one of the best esports teams out there. I mean, it just was the reality of that. Well, I mean, strength to strength is what they've done here. Is they're going to move into in real life racing with some tremendous momentum. We haven't talked about Christy Tracy much today.
Yeah, and she's coming to
Big
move by
fan
Lauren
of
Stevens
her.
here. Christy
Yep.
Tracy right on the wheel. Lauren Stevens, that's the place you want to be when Stevens starts rocking side to side like that, as you can see.
Remember that?
So we might have a
Yep.
breakaway situation here.
Well, and I love what Christy Tracy is all about, this rider. Also, so 2 Texas ladies here. They've raced together in real life as well. Now, Christy Tracy had a nice win. Remember that in the 10 race USA Cycling Series that we did? I'm going to say it was race 7, 8, somewhere in there. Christy had a solo breakaway win. It was beautiful, that's for sure. But I mean, you are looking at the wattage goddess. There is no doubt that the rider on screen right now, that's Lauren Stevens, is one of the best in the world and a friend of ours. I think that's what I love is she's part of the Zwift community, just like you are, Nathan, just like I am, just like everybody out here racing with us is. And
Good little
that's a
move
special
here.
thing.
Didn't make it happen, and it looks like Carolyn Murray going to take full advantage of the situation. Comes right over the top. The rider out of Scotland here, 176 beats per minute. Charlotte Backus, she's going to try to make something happen. It looks like maybe as Lauren Stevens really gave a solid kick now. And
this is your Braveheart moment.
Braveheart moment. Freedom
right
from the pack. Freedom, take the lots. Can't take the break here. It looks like we'll see what happens as they continue on. But Carolyn Murray, this is one of those situations where they give her a little too much wiggle room. It could become a threat, but we'll have to see if she can make this happen.
Number one danger rider for Tibco SVB is Caroline Murray, without any question, for the Saris, the Pros Closet team. She's got results to back that up. Again, no newcomer to the world of e-racing, that's for sure. You know, if you want to, out at the velodrome, Nathan, a lot of times they come up with creative racing to keep things interesting, just to make it fun, right? Well, in this case, I would challenge the Tibco ladies to give her a little bit of leash here and see what they can chase back. And then how many riders are going to be in the peloton? If you give Caroline Murray 10 seconds here, and no one's giving anyone anything, right? Look at the numbers that Murray is putting up on the board right now. This is an all-star that we're looking at. But the Scottish rider, Nathan, if she ekes out 15 seconds before Tibco goes all in on the chase, we got ourselves, they call it, in the United Kingdom, a handicap race, right? Where we kind of look at your past performances, and then we'll let the slowest riders start first traditionally, and then the fastest riders have to chase them back. Well, this is a little different story because Caroline Murray is far from one of the slowest riders out here. She's actually completely on the other end of that spectrum. She's one of the fastest riders in esports today. But Caroline Murray going up against the two monsters. And again, let's be clear here. You're looking at a Tour de France stage winner when you talk about Lauren Stevens out of Dallas, Texas. Also a UCI single-day race winner as well. She's done a lot in this sport, and she is part of the U.S. Olympic team. Kristen Faulkner, a little right now, I mean, she's only been racing as a pro, but hasn't even really had a chance to race as a pro. She comes out of Alaska, moves to New York, now living in the Bay Area. Again, that's going to be Faulkner that we're looking at right now. This is one of the best stories going in sport today. I was talking about Corey Williams with the men. Well, this is for the women. I think the most interesting rider on the planet when you talk about Kristen Faulkner. And we're looking at Faulkner now giving a little bit of a gap here with her teammate Stevens to Caroline Murray, but even Caroline Murray can't hold this group up as the skies open up here on Watopia. And Nathan, let's bring it on home. The horses can smell the barn now as they're just about 1.2K from the finish.
Yeah, not a whole lot of wiggle room here at this point as Caroline Murray now gets brought back into the fold. Not a whole lot of chase had to happen here. Christy Tracy comes over the top, looking to maybe get an upset here. A little bit of a flyer, 10 watts per kilogram.
Stevens covers.
Immediately responds here. Here's the real life effort here.
This is it.
A little bit of a smile on her face here, seeing Christy go, going, okay, it's on now at this point here. Mats and Co. looking to come across as well here. The race is on now, Dave.
Well, and this is it. It is on like Donkey Kong. From here on in is Laura Madsen Coe's going to get up into the mix here as well. That's the rider out of Seattle. Here we go. It's a wattage throwdown now. Madsen Coe has got onto the wheel of Stevens. Stevens now trying to rein in Christy Tracy. This is going to be really interesting. Tracy has got some depth. She's scraping the bottom of the barrel right now, but Stevens says, not on my watch. Lauren Stevens is absolutely 100% world class, and she doesn't like losing anything. That's going to be a lapped rider that they're going by now, so they work through some traffic here. Nathan, the race is on, and we're bringing it on home.
Tracy's
only a few hundred meters to go.
There's no advantage at this point.
She could do it.
She could do it here at this point. Tracy's trying to hold on here. Looks like Lauren Stevens trying to come across. Look at the face, the pain on her face, trying to make it happen. I think everybody else is out of the race at this point. Faulkner is 2 seconds back still. Stevens trying to come across. Has Christy Tracy done it? Madsen Coe, 8 watts per kilogram as she sat on the wheel of Lauren Stevens. Christy Tracy trying to hang on. It's a race of attrition, though. Right to the line. Lauren Madsen Coe. It looks like Madsen Coe is going to make it happen. As Lauren Stevens tries to make it happen here, but she's not going to be able to come across. Madsen Coe, it looks like the upset. Stevens with the effort to the line. What an effort, but no, Mats and Co. And who played the cards right? Let's watch the replay because that was all about tactics. That whole thing that just happened was surgical coming from our surgeon. Mats and Co. Amazing job by the Evoke team.
Listen, that's why we make them race the whole distance. That was supersonic there from Laura Matson Co. in the finale. Again, Nathan, that was what it was all about. And credit to the Tibco SVB women as well for letting the race play out in such a fun way out there. Congratulations to Laura Matson Co. on what is a beautiful win here today. She's probably heading down to the hospital here for operation or surgery in a couple hours. So what an amazing human.
Take a quick look here at the replay. What a move. Christy Tracy.
I thought Christy Tracy had it.
She went from far out. I did too, but Mats and Co. had that second kick. And look, to the line here, we saw Lauren Stevens' effort there in real life. And here, if we go back just a little further, let me see if I can actually go back just a little bit further to see how this actually played out, because this is really interesting to watch how Mats and Co. made this happen, actually. So I'm just going to rewind just a little bit here, because a little early on, we're watching Christy Tracy. This is her off the front here. Mats and Co. does not make this move until the second tier. So through all the way until this moment right here, Mats & Co. is following Lauren Stevens' wheel. She's playing their cards perfectly because there's nobody else actually involved in the race at this point. You look back behind and Faulkner's 2 seconds back. Mats & Co. saw when to go to jump on Lauren Stevens' wheel. She's getting a little bit of a draft here. Mats & Co. is sitting on 6-7, grabs back onto the wheel in just a moment here. Stevens is watching this, probably thinking, oh man, I'm bringing somebody else in tow. But at this point, you're running out of landscape. Somebody's got to bring Tracy back. She starts to bring Tracy back. And at that point, Mats & Co. goes the moment that they hit the uphill. Look at this. Watch this. There goes Co.
And look at the numbers.
Drags it across.
I mean, yeah, this is surgical, as you said, when you look at how Mats & Co. manages this, but she backs it up with a huge engine. So there you go. A little breakdown in how to win on Zwift. It takes heart and brains out here as the rider out of Seattle gets it done. And does Tracy end up third here or second now?
As we see, right to the line. It was right to the line.
I think Stevens got her, the two Texas-based riders there. And again, Nathan, I think it's worth noting that, Lauren Stevens did not have to come out here and race with Zwift community in our USA Cycling Saris, the Pros Closet ride. But she's out here getting better and better for her run at the rest of the 2020 season. You're watching someone who doesn't shy away from the hard work. Same thing for Kristen Faulkner here. Those ladies are going to be jumping on a plane in a couple of days, but take a look. Your gold standard is Laura Mats & Co. with Lauren Stevens taking the silver, Christy Tracy in third. And then we've got Canadian, Monali Keller, backing it up out there. The Revo rider in fourth. Way to go, Monali.
That's
Caroline
really
Murray
close
holds
race. On. Look at how close that race is for second. I mean, right there at that. What is that? That's like 4/100ths of a second or something.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? And then Murray, after that late attack, is able to hold on and actually finish in front of Kristen Faulkner, another rider who was outstanding at the Tour de France just this last weekend. Kristen Kay in seventh. Heather Patton gets up there for eighth. Cleo Denane in ninth. And then Ellen Tarquino in 10th. So there you go, Nathan. That's our A women's top 10. 8 laps out there today on the Volcano Circuit. Vigo Moore gets it done, the junior rider. Congratulations, Vigo. Not his first win, but that's a big one there. Juan Cruz Araldi taking a silver. Scott Gleason, the bronze. Then Corey Williams, renowned sprinter, getting up there for fourth. Tom Thrall in fifth, the Canadian. Then Matteo Sigala, who's very active late in the race. Good job, Matteo. Simon Nielsen in seventh. Emmanuel Lejeune, who would have been, I think, our most aggressive rider throughout the race. Daniel Ricciardo in ninth. And then Shell Power in 10th. That's great racing, both the men and the women today.
See if we can take a quick look here. I do like to shout out the rest of the categories if we can. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it on through with Kyle Crouch. They're coming in the B category, as well as Matthew Neugebauer coming through in second place. Blair Cobo, followed by Sean Harris coming out of Canada. Justin Evans there. Andre Strula, EF, followed up by Rory Osbrink. And then it's going to be Steve Lynn and Rich Patterson in the B category. Again, we do cover the A's for the men's and the women's. All these races are going on at the same time, so it would be a little bit difficult to jump across. We'd essentially just be jumping across 8 different races continually, not really
Little
watching much
much.
of anything. But we do like to cover what the Crystal McDonald. Good to see longtime viewer out there just nabbing it in a sprint. It looks like 29:58 at with that. Looks like he won by 100ths of a second there. Excuse me, 8/100ths of a second. But Gus Robinson, Jason Martin, Emil Verhustad, and then it's Yujan Marvel, and then Andy Finney.
You got the tough ones here.
I got the tough ones. Spencer Rockman and Mike Claybold. Yeah, the Netherlands. The Netherlands always seems to hit me. That's for sure. I'll give it to you for the D category there, Dave.
Oh, well, thanks, Nathan. Fry, 2803, taking the win in our Ds. David Mitchell, second, and Brian Fahey in third. Tommy C, fourth. Graham Thorne for the Cryogen team in fifth. Keelan Venters in sixth. Hey, BJ, nice job. BJ Afonso in seventh. BJ does a lot of work promoting Zwift racing out of Portugal. Luis Ramada in eighth. Doug Duval in ninth. And David Schaefer in 10th. That's our D's. Good job out there, guys. It takes a lot of heart to get out here and race. Nathan, again, it's one thing at the front of the race, the Lawrence Stevens and the Vigo Moores and company, but these are the riders that, maybe putting themselves out there, expanding their horizons and maybe getting out of their comfort zone. I love that about our D's.
Yeah,
I try to be a D myself. I strive to be a D myself.
Yeah, and there's plenty. I mean, being a fitness app, and the reality is that a lot of people out here are just trying to keep in shape.
Heck yeah.
There is a reality that racing out on Zwift is a great way to do that. Now, the C category had a little bit shorter as well as the D category race, and so we can go ahead and jump in for the women's side of things for them. JJ Gordon, Carla Williams. Shout out to Carla Williams. Great to see you out there for second place in the C category. Serenity Marshall, followed up by Veronica Rodriguez. And then it's going to be Paige One Row, Jillian Hall, Mary Whitehead, G. Koss, and Mia Angel there for Team SZ. And in the D category, good shout out to Marsha Wartle and Trisha Kurtz. I'm going to take a quick look at the Bs. It looks like we got 4 finishers so far with Meta Johnson, Monica Merked, ride for Phenom, and then Jessica McWhirт and C. Owen. They're coming across. Looks like there was some serious breaks there in the B category. So that's
I'm a big fan of.
Go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to shout out Jessica McWhirt. She works really hard here in Colorado to help promote racing and has a real positive attitude. So great to see Jessica out here racing as well. Positive attitude goes a long way these days. Nathan, I appreciate yours. I love seeing that smile. Dude, are you stoked for WTRL tomorrow?
Yeah,
I
WTRL
sure am.
number 64 and running. 64 in a row. We've been doing this for...
That's amazing.
It is really amazing. Quick little shout-outs as well. This weekend, on Sunday, we've got another, I believe it is a CRCA race coming up. So similar to what we did, what you were talking about, the Dave Jordan, we've got another race just like that was a part of that series. That races being canceled left and right. Our local Wisconsin Off-Road Series, the state mountain bike series can't. I mean, things are just coming here and there, or to shore. It looks like out the window at this point. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more virtual events coming down the line. So obviously, then this Sunday, I just got the announcement that, hey, this is happening. So we'll be covering that this Sunday. WTRL tomorrow. Also be on watch out for what the Koa boys are doing on ZCL. We also have the NRS for Australia happening Friday night, Saturday morning for Australia here on Zwift Community Live. So to catch all that content, make sure to follow wherever you may be watching. We are live on Twitch, Facebook, as well as YouTube. And hit those follow buttons, turn on those bells as well. And you can always go check out Zwift as a game actually over on Twitch as well. I always like to give a shout out to all of our live streamers that are out there. There's a lot of live streamers. The community is really growing, both on Twitch and Facebook gaming. So make sure to check those out. And we'll be back tomorrow for WTRL. Make sure to jump in tonight. You also have an evening race. If you like this, you want to jump into some racing, USA Cycling puts these on 3 times on Wednesdays, a morning race, an afternoon race, and an evening race. You can go ahead and jump into that as well. So that's it for me. I'm Nathan Guerra, Dave Toll next to me, and we will see you tomorrow for WTRL. As always, everybody, right on.